If you've ever asked yourself, why am I still doing this? Stay with me. Because you know this doesn't serve you. You know it drains you. And yet somehow you find yourself doing it again. Seriously, why? If this sounds like you, this video is really going to help you. I'm going to walk you through why this happens and how you can start to move towards what you know is better for you. Now, if you stay with me till the end, I'll share a bonus tool that brings it all together. So let's talk about what's actually going on. We're going to start with some basic science and psychology behind why you keep repeating what you repeat. Honestly, there isn't one single reason. There are a few. And once you understand them, everything will start to click. For today, I broke them down into 4 reasons. The first reason relates to how your brain loves predictability, even when it hurts. Now, this might sound strange, but it's true. Your brain's job is not to make you happy. Its main job is to keep you safe. And what feels safe? Whatever is familiar and predictable. So even if the pattern is painful, the brain goes, at least I know this. At least I know the rules here. And your nervous system learns how to function and regulate itself around that familiar discomfort. This is why you can know something is bad for you and still stay. That toxic relationship, that unhealthy habit, that draining job. Because your brain doesn't measure good or bad. It measures known versus unknown. Now, I don't know if you've heard this saying before, but it pretty much explains how your brain operates. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. On a survival level, familiar feels safer, even if it hurts. New feels scarier, simply because it's uncertain. And this is one of the quiet reasons your brain resists change. Again, not because the new is bad, but because the old is known. Before we move on, how do you feel just knowing that about how your brain functions? Does it light up anything for you? The second reason simply relates to the idea that repetition becomes identity. Let me tell you why this is a big one. Whatever you repeat, a thought, a reaction, a behavior, it becomes easier, faster, more automatic, right? Because this is literally how your neural pathways form, from repetition. And eventually you start to think, this is just who I am. I just can't say no, I can't help it. I get angry quickly, I'm just that type of person. But what you don't usually realize is, you're not just describing your personality. You're describing what you've practiced and reinforced long enough that it became who you think you are. And this is how your practice becomes your identity unless you interrupt it. Now, think about it for a moment. If you've practiced becoming someone who gets angry easily, can't you practice becoming calmer? We'll come back to this when we talk about how you can shift. Now, the third reason you feel stuck in your own ways is that emotional habits are harder to break than behavioral ones. We usually think the problem is the behavior. I can never keep up with any diet. I scroll too much on my phone. I snap quickly. But that's just the surface level habit sitting on top of a deeper emotional loop. A loop of fear, of sadness, of approval seeking, or maybe of self-doubt. We avoid looking at these because, let's be honest, it's uncomfortable. So we focus on the behavior instead because it feels simpler. But you know what it's like? It's like getting frustrated that your device keeps freezing on you while ignoring the updates that would actually fix it. Your emotional patterns are your internal operating system. And until you review them, they'll keep running the same show, whether you like it or not. The fourth reason why it feels difficult to change is simply because change requires energy and we are tired. Let's just say it as it is. To change anything, you need focus, space, time. And we live in a world that's fast, hyper-connected, and at many times overwhelming. So your brain spends a lot of time defaulting to what it's used to and running on autopilot, even when that autopilot is dysfunctional. And it's not about you not having the desire or the intention to change. It really is a capacity problem. So if you've been asking, why do I keep doing this? Maybe the real question is, what do I need to let go of so I can have the capacity to change? Where is my energy actually going? This brings us straight to the how. But before we dive into it, it's important to revisit our mindset around change. See, change is not the end goal. It's the path. And paths are twisted. And you're allowed to take different routes or even to reroute. Sometimes the destination itself changes, and that's okay. And this isn't about excuses, it's about life. It's about staying flexible and acknowledging your progress anyway. Because change is a journey, and progress always counts. So give yourself some grace and some praise along the way. Now, if you're really thinking, okay, so how do I help myself shift for real? How do I actually make the change? Here are 3 steps that actually work. Simple, basic, but real. The first real starting point is to recognize and name the pattern you want to change. A lot of the frustration around I need to change comes from not actually defining what you want to change. When everything feels like this one big blurry, I want to fix my whole life kind of thing, your brain shuts down. Remember, your brain hates unfamiliarity. It hates uncertainty. And you cannot change what you don't recognize. So instead of the pressure of, why am I like this? Try a more curious and kind approach. What's actually happening here? What's the real pattern? And name it without shame. I just ate a full bag of chips because I was anxious and tired. Oh, here I am, bottling up my feelings again until I explode. Can you relate to any of these? And here's something I love. Notice where you feel it in your body. Does it show up in your chest, in your throat, in your shoulders? Because your body catches the pattern before your mind does. And this is how you can recognize it earlier the next time. One small practice that really helps is to write the one pattern you're focusing on somewhere you can see more often. In your notes, on your phone, on a sticky note, on the fridge. Naming it is like turning on the light in a dark room you've been stumbling through for a while. You don't have to fix the whole room today. You just need to see what you need to start with. And that's how naming interrupts old patterns. The second step is realizing that Rome wasn't built in one day. Small steps build big change. We get way too impatient with ourselves. We want a full transformation right now. And although we know it's not realistic, we still want it, right? It's a common feeling. But let's all agree that it's impulsive and it's destructive. Because sudden changes shock the system, but they don't sustain the system. You actually set yourself up for failure when 1, you don't break things down for yourself. 2, you don't give yourself alternatives. And 3, you don't honor your capacity. If boundaries are hard for you, don't suddenly decide to become the queen of boundaries tomorrow. Start small. Start with a simple phrase you can use like, let me get back to you. And use it in safe moments. Repeat it so it becomes familiar and add to it gradually. If anger is your struggle, don't say, it's just who I am. You and I both know that's just a defense mechanism. If you normally go from 1 to 100 quickly, do anything that interrupts the usual buildup earlier. You could take a few breaths. You could shift the conversation to something else or invite someone else to speak. You could simply stay silent for a moment, or you could excuse yourself from the space. Whatever works for you, do it. Now, here are 2 concepts that actually make small changes stick. Habit stacking and friction change. Think of habit stacking as attaching a new habit to an existing one. It simply means when I do this, I'll add that. For example, I've been trying to work on my health and I'm honestly terrible at taking my vitamins. So now when I go eat my morning meal, I take my vitamin D. That's it. Morning meal equals vitamin D. And the same thing with coffee. Whenever I make my morning coffee and wait for it to brew, I do at least 14 squats. You see how that works? Friction change is another simple but powerful concept. If you want to do less of something, make it harder. If you want to do more of something, make it easier. If you want to stop scrolling at night, ask yourself, where does my phone sleep? If it is next to your pillow, of course you'll scroll. But if you put it farther away, it becomes less convenient. You create this distance which interrupts the autopilot of reaching for your phone. These little shifts teach your nervous system that this new thing is predictable and safe. And that's how the unfamiliar becomes familiar. And as you get more comfortable, you can add the next small thing to the routine, just one layer at a time. Because the secret to sustainable change is consistent, small, gradual shifts. This brings us to the last step of how you can make the change towards what serves you better. Step 3 is all about realizing that willpower is not enough. You need systems and people. Let me say this clearly. Willpower can start the change, but it's not enough to keep it going. Any form of change, even small change, usually comes with resistance. And this is especially highlighted on those days when you're tired, overwhelmed, or just mentally done. We are humans. We are social beings. And even having one person checking in can make a huge difference. They can help you stay on track, or they can simply help you stay honest with yourself. It could be a friend, a coach, a mentor, or in my case, it's my husband. He's my accountability partner. And it doesn't have to be deep every time. It could literally just be a quick message at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays saying, "Did you do it?" Or "What's the update?" And research backs this up. Commit to someone and you're already around 60% more likely to follow through. Add weekly check-ins and that number goes above 90%. If involving a person feels too much, use a system. There are many of those apps, programs, or even paid commitments that can help you. Now, think about this for a second. How many free things have you signed up for and skipped without even bothering? And how different does it feel when you've actually paid for something? Somehow, when something is free, it feels optional. But when you invest in it, you prioritize it. And that's because of loss aversion. The idea that we're more motivated to avoid losing something than to gain something new. The point is, don't let the fact that something is paid stop you from choosing the support that's right for you. And remember, people and systems don't replace your discipline. They protect it. They encourage it. They hold the door open long enough for the new behavior to become familiar. Because you're not just fighting a habit, you're fighting years of conditioning and running on autopilot. Since you've come this far with me, let me leave you with a bonus tool I really love. It's something you usually hear about in therapy, but I use it as a tool for alignment. It's called the cognitive triangle, and it's made of the 3 things you deal with every single day: your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. These 3 are in a constant conversation. The starting point can be different, but the idea is the same. They're interconnected. Your thoughts shape your feelings influence your actions, and your actions loop back into your thoughts. So why does this matter? It matters because it helps you see 3 very important things. Number 1, it helps you see where you tend to get stuck. For many people, it's their thoughts. They get stuck in overthinking and overanalyzing. Number 2, it helps you see what you tend to ignore. Many people forget to check in with their emotions when they're in this doing, grinding, pushing mode for too long. And number 3, it helps you see how your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors influence each other and influence what you end up choosing or not. And the most important thing to remember is that these 3, your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, they all operate in one system. And that system is you. So when you start paying attention to all of them, you start understanding yourself better. You notice where you get stuck and you start acting from alignment. There you have it. In today's video, we talked about why you keep doing what you're doing and how you can start shifting towards what actually serves you. Remember, recognize and define what it is you truly want to change. Follow the simple rule of gradual equals sustainable. And don't forget to give attention to your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions so that they can work together in your favor. And above all, stay kind to yourself because you're allowed to take your time. You're allowed to be a human while you figure things out. As always, I appreciate your support. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And always remember, you've got this. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.